the DORK podcast with Rich Keefe. It's the DORK podcast. Ryan Davey. It's the DORK podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag DORK podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs. He is Rarkhak Von Darkhawk. He is Roddy Von Dottie. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan Davey. Davey, how are you?
Better now. We had a day yesterday, the two of us.
God.
What a pair.
How about us? Not even in contact with each other. Both did not feel good yesterday.
Not at all. So as I was saying to you off the air, I had my first migraine that I've ever had in my life. Boy, howdy.
Yeah, that'll knock you in your butt.
So I was teaching a class, and all of a sudden, like, I got like this really intense pressure in my head. And like every kid who was talking to me sounded like the teacher from Charlie Brown, like the wonk, 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 wonk. I'm like, I can't.
No.
Like I can't. And they're like, all I remember are two things. One, a girl in my class was like, Mr. Davey, like, you look like really bad. Like, you look bad.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm fine. And then another kid was like, you just need ibuprofen. Like, you just need ibuprofen. I was like, yeah, man, that's it. Like, that's what's sitting me down. Like, I just need 2 Advils and I'm good. Like, no,
Yeah.
Like, this is something else. So I went and woke up this morning. It was fine. Totally fine.
Crazy. Yeah, I woke up yesterday. I felt pretty terrible, but I fought through it, went to work, and it was just like sort of like it felt like off, felt kind of like I didn't throw up at any point, but I felt like I might. And I didn't eat anything literally all day or all night. Just wasn't hungry. So didn't eat. And then I never take naps. And when I got home, I went to bed. And that's when my wife was like, what the fuck?
Oh, I'm a big napper. I love naps.
I never nap because I wake up miserable. And
I'll see if you keep it to like 20 to 30 minutes, you're good.
Oh, that's a quick burst.
Yeah.
So I basically, thanks to my wife, she handled the small child all last night. I literally just went to bed. So I was in bed for 12 hours and woke up, felt like a new man.
Yeah. See, when you texted me, I was like still in a fog, like I was coming out of it, but I was still like not right. So I'm glad we're both okay.
We're all right. And thanks to all the people that are reaching out. We said no episode last night. And a lot of people assumed the worst, which I
assumed that we were like just quitting, like we were never going to do it again. Like we were going to fight and we're never,
Like, we hope everything's okay. Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. A little touch and go there last night, but we're all good. So let's dive into it, shall we?
Yeah.
This week in DORK. Yeah.
Well, actually, sad news to start, Ryan. Right off the rip, we have to do this.
Can't have to do it. Yeah. Pick of the bomb.
Pick of the bomb. Pick of the bomb.
Pick of the pod. Legendary comedian Gilbert Gottfried has passed away. Now he had been sick for a little while, but my God, is there a more unique, not just literally voice, but also what he said and how he said it in all of comedy than Gilbert Gottfried?
So what's crazy to me is that he's probably most known for, being in Aladdin, or he was remember he was like the adoption guy and Problem Child. Like, he's the guy with the voice, as you remember him. And what's nuts is that I watched a documentary with him not too long ago, like, and you heard him speak normally, and you're like, you almost wanted to be like, stop. Like, stop speaking normally.
Like, I don't understand this. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like, he did all those like crazy man. And you'd think that he was just like a nyuk comedian. But have you ever heard his stand-up? Like, super raunchy. Said whatever he felt like saying and was legit funny. And we've talked about this a lot when we've done episodes on stand-up comedians and like what a cool kind of fraternity that is. But when a comedian makes other comedians really laugh, like Colin Quinn, Colin Quinn's really good because all the other comedians love him. But Gilbert Gottfried was very similar in that sense, where they all loved Gilbert every time he was there. And oftentimes, like, a lot of those roasts, like, he was the funniest guy. And it because like you'd never expected the little nebbish, guy to like just come at people
right at him.
And so I remember he did an Aristocrats joke.
Like, I think he like retired the joke. He's like, all timer.
Yeah, it was so good. So good. If you haven't seen the Gilbert Gottfried, he was during a roast doing Aristocrats joke. It was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, and there's some good videos going around of him on Twitter right now too. Like the one on that is it fucking Hollywood Squares or whatever, where they do like the tic-tac-toe thing.
Yeah.
Funny Gilbert, and it's great. It's great. So watch that. So that's obviously a sad one today. Not as sad. Will Smith banned from the Oscars for 10 years.
Good.
So in 2033, he can take home Best Actor again.
So he can still get nominated. He just can't accept the award. Like he can't be there physically.
I got a hunch he won't be nominated.
Well, that's the other thing too, because the joke started then coming. What about Jada? What about Jada? Is Jada banned too? It's like she's only there because of him. Like she's not getting.
Well, that was like the old Chris Rock joke from 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what like they speculate pissed them off in the first place. Is like,
yeah,
the Rihanna's panties joke, which is still a fucking great joke.
So good.
Yeah.
So he had, by the way, Chris Rock had 5 total shows at the Wilbur last week. Our producer Billy Lanny went to one of them, and same thing. Barely, like early on, would make a little joke about like, oh, like how was your weekend type of thing, but then nothing Will Smith related the whole time.
Well,
I'm really surprised.
Well, the other thing too is like you have to understand. I mean, I'm no expert in stand-up comedy, but I've seen it enough and listened to podcasts enough where like that's a rehearsed. It's like a play. It's like a rehearsed act.
Oh yeah, and it's a lot of work. Yeah,
it's a lot of work to like memorize that and like segue from one joke. And the work, if you've ever listened to like comedians talk to other comedians, like they've painstakingly how things are worded, and how things fit together. So it's not like you can just shoehorn 5 minutes of Will Smith into an act that you've been practicing for months.
Yeah, and Chris Rock's one of those guys that a lot of these guys do it, but like he's one that'll go to like these little like small places and like improv ones and like try stuff out.
Right.
It might not be very good, but like he's just fine tuning it and waiting to go for shows like this where he has all his best stuff now at this point. So yeah,
I get
it.
I don't. So I know you and so I've known you a long time. Have you ever tried stand up?
No,
I've tried it once.
How'd that go?
It is. I think like it went okay, but it was like, it's really hard.
I think it's the hardest thing in the world.
So for me, it's stories. Like mine would have to be like if I were to do, it would have to be like anecdote based, where I know the story, so I can kind of like go into it. But I can't imagine doing an hour.
I can't at all. No, I'm so impressed by it. I think it's incredibly difficult. I got into an argument with somebody a while ago about how it's the most difficult thing to just do. And somebody was like, well, what about like be like a brain surgeon? And I'm like, I don't know. You go to enough school. Now, obviously, if you're a dum-dum, you can't do it. But like if you're smart enough and you apply yourself, like I'm 100% going to do this. I'm gonna read every fucking book. I'm gonna go to every class. I think you might not be a great one, but you could do it. If you today were like, I'm going to be not you, but somebody was like, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian. It's like, are you funny? Like, first of all, and it's not even like, are you funny? Are you like situationally funny? Great. A lot of people are, but can you write jokes, command an audience, command a room that size, have everybody's attention? I think it's so hard. I've thought of like a handful of jokes that I think would work in that setting. But even then, like, I don't know exactly how to word them, but I have like a few premises that I think would fucking crush, but I'd still be terrified to go up there and do it because that's not my scene. Like I feel like public speaking, I'm not like I'm not shy of that.
Right.
I've like emceed events. I've done like a best man speech. I've done all that stuff, but stand-up comedy is another animal altogether.
And I would say if you think you're funny,
yeah. Oh, you're probably not.
Put your money where your mouth. Like, try it. If you think I dare you to do 5 minutes of stand up. 5 minutes is a long fucking time.
Oh
for dead air.
Yeah,
and it's by yourself too. Like you and I can riff. Like I think I would be a good joke writer.
Yep, that's
like,
also a whole different skill.
I would write jokes well.
Yep.
I was trying to come up. I had I had a bit, and I was gonna like bait you into this bit that I had last night, and I was cackling laughing. My wife thought it was the least funny thing she's ever heard. So it was
tough audience.
It was a dick thing, like as we do from time to time.
Obviously, mine's very X-rated, and I'm pissed because I lay awake at night and I think about things all the time.
Usually, I do this same thing. So my joke was, and I don't know how I was going to word it. Maybe we can workshop it right now as a
okay.
We can dork type thing.
All right.
So it was basically the gist was we were going to get into the length versus girth discussion. Like I was kind of bait you into that again.
Good start.
And me like hyping up the girth aspect of it, and I try to bait you into a question where you're like, well, what makes you think that it's blah blah blah? And I would say, I don't know how I would work this in, but to me it's hilarious. Well, I think it's because it's just so flat.
That's great.
Like, and you'd be like, wait, so you're telling me that you have abnormal girth because your penis is flat?
Flat.
Like, yeah, it's like a flounder. Like, it's flat, you know?
Yeah, I like it.
Like, yours isn't? Like, that was the whole bit.
I think it's
like,
great.
he wouldn't laugh at that. I'm like, yes, he would.
I would laugh at that. I did laugh at that.
My penis is flat.
Well, I was like, I made myself laugh out loud when we were saying, this is a couple years ago on the podcast about like, how much do you weigh? And it was like hard or soft. You're like, no. So it's like all jokes like that, circling back.
It's all
I had one, and again, I'm almost afraid to say this, but I guess I'll never do stand-up comedy. So I can do this. And again, we can timestamp it, we can do everything else. So I'm afraid this one might get out there. But basically the gist of the joke, and I don't have it worded properly yet. But basically, how come in like it's socially acceptable and even in like high society for very prestigious people to say that a couple is trying, like this couple, like they're trying.
Yes.
Whereas you could also just say he's now nutting inside her without a condom. And it's the same. You're saying the same thing, Ryan.
You're at a cocktail party, and the thing is, well, I heard they're trying.
Oh, they're trying. I can only think of like the people looking like Downton Abbey, like, oh, they're trying, or like, well, actually, maybe they didn't do it back then, but like, you know how it is, like a wine party, like a wine and cheese party.
Wine and cheese that we don't get invited to.
And you can say that in front of somebody's grandmother. You can say, oh, they're trying. And you're like, oh, good for, like, good luck. But you're like, yeah, I've been coming inside her now for months without a condom.
Regularly.
Regularly.
Like, you can say that to your parents.
I bust huge nuts. And they're like, what?
So you could be like, just one time, I want to be like, trying what?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And just wait to see like what they say. Like, I would just like wait it out.
I don't understand. I don't understand what you're suggesting. I know. I also had one other that I felt like the outline was perfect. I remember being like, I should write it down, and I didn't. So hopefully I'll remember it again. But it was probably in line with something like that. But I was like, this is also foolproof.
The other thing we can do as a podcast down the road is we can write 5 good minutes for somebody and write the material for them, and you have to go video yourself doing it. Well, that's a listener challenge. Like, here's our 5 minutes of jokes. You go do it at an open mic.
Isn't that we never did it in our league, but I think that that's like a fantasy football last place thing.
It is.
Yeah. Go to open mic and do 5 minutes.
Do 5 minutes of comedy. That's a great one for our league.
Great punishment.
I would rather do that than sign up for and take the SATs, which I've been pulling for forever. So someone should do that.
It's way too much time.
That's the point.
It's more of a time crunch than anything else.
And I'm a person who's coming last.
That's true. So you would have to take them again. Yeah, but then
I'm coming all 3 holes and last in fantasy. See what I did?
I did. I saw that.
Yeah, flat penis joke again.
I think we are the official podcast of Flat Penis.
Flat Penis Awareness Month is actually April. So
what do you mean it's flat? Like flat which way? Right.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's like someone took it and just kind of clamped down on
it. A vice grip.
Yeah. So I actually got that joke because they did it in Jackass.
Oh yeah, they did squeeze it together.
But
then it's like, so would you be all that impressed if it's really, really long, if it happens to be really, really flat? Or would you rather?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would rather be wide and flat.
No, I don't. I think you'd rather be short and round.
Like a puck.
Super long, but super flat.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is less than a month away. People are excited for this.
Yeah.
People are tuning in for this. Should be pretty good.
It should be pretty good. And they said the runtime is it's like 2 hours. So they was rumored that this was going to be the longest MCU movie, and it's not even close.
Speaking of, we have not only a live show coming up May 15th at Idle Hands, 3 p.m. start time, Sunday, May 15th. Hopefully you can all make it out there. And by the way, for those who have been to previous live shows, Goo claims he has completely mastered the sound. Before, there was only certain areas where you could really hear us, and now Goo claims the whole building, and the whole city of Malden's going to be able to hear us.
God love it.
But the reason I say that is we are in the Dork Shared Gooniverse coming up with the top 50 comic book movies of all time. So obviously Doctor Strange is going to be a late entry, so that won't be in there. But anything else is fair game. And again, not just Marvel or DC, any comic book movie. And so there's 10 of us on the panel. And I've already done the math on 8. So you and Shime still have not sent yours in, which is fine.
And again, it's done. I'm just tinkering a little bit.
Yeah, don't be like Nick Fryer, by the way, and send.
I'm not sending. That's the thing. I don't want to send you 4 lists, and I also Flash Gordon is moving up and down my list all over the place because that movie's the tits.
This list, and I'm gonna wait. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a regular Monday night episode where we count down 50 through 26, probably in early May, and then on the live show we're gonna do the top 25, and Mac and Goo are gonna join us for that. We have the rest of the year set for Rossi horrible takes, and they're not all Rossi's. Some of them, of course, are Rossi's,
but there are some. Oh boy.
When people put pen to paper and say, I think this movie is better than that movie, you find some insane ones.
See, I'm betting, yeah. So I broke it up by 10s. So like I have like my, so like the top 10 is you could go, yeah. So that's how I view it. So if you argue with me that, the Batman is better than the Dark Knight, I'll be like, okay. Like fine.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, but there are some, but also there are some that clearly shouldn't even be in the same tier.
Oh, not even. And there's more that what I found is there's more than 50 comic book movies. So like there are some that we shouldn't even discuss.
Oh no, I bet there are close to 150.
I would say between 75 and 100. And I there are some that we should never speak about.
No, Davey, I'm telling you, there's way more because I've been trying to keep track on that Letterboxd app.
Yeah,
and I didn't even include all of the animated ones, but I let people if they wanted.
Yeah, I forgot. I mean, that's the thing. You forget about that.
If they wanted to vote for them, they can. I have 115 ranked. 115 ranked. So I bet, and I'm probably missing 20 to 30. So that's how many. So top 50, there might be a couple that people like that don't make our top 50. It is also pretty top heavy, if you ask me.
It's really top heavy. Like the good is really goddamn good.
Like if I was going to say 6 out of 6, I might say maybe 15.
That was exactly what I was going to say too. Like there's probably 15 that are 6 out of 6.
Rossi, Fryer, and Wes, who does the Change My Mind pod with Fryer, all 3 of those guys made me spit out my coffee with like some of their rankings.
At this point, I know Wes's is a little bit like to get the reaction.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I know Wes likes to do that stuff, but also enough of his list is like really solid that it's like it's not just a throwaway list. It's odd. Yeah. I have to ask him about it. Rossi's is kind of classic Rossi at a few turns. Fryer
like he has like Batman and Robin in his top 10. I think like Rossi at this point is just fucking with me.
He might be.
Yeah,
might be. But yeah, so we'll have those later on, but it's been pretty interesting to watch. Not included in that exercise are the Marvel TV shows, including Moon Knight, which 2 episodes in, 2 out of 6. How you feeling about this?
I feel great. I love it. It's just goofy enough and it's just serious enough. It's kind of like teetering on that.
Yeah.
And I was reading somewhere today, speaking of good Marvel shows, that Daredevil came out like 7 years ago.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that makes sense.
7 years.
I mean,
have we been doing this that long?
Yes.
That's nuts.
We started in 2015. I think it was the summer of 2015. And remember, I didn't even have Netflix streaming then.
No, you didn't. Because
you were like, watch Daredevil. I'm like, yeah, I can't. So I think we did a standalone episode on Daredevil season 2. I don't think we ever did on season 1.
Oh, wow.
We could always rewatch that and do an episode.
Yeah, because we never actually did it.
That's not bad. I think and the only reason I remember this is because I ended up doing a standalone on it. Ant-Man was the first MCU movie. Mm-hmm. So anything pre-Ant-Man we didn't do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How long has this been going on?
Been a long time. Yeah. Long time running. Sonic 2 is getting really good reviews, apparently.
Yeah, and I was going to put this in the video game minute, but I'll mention it now. So the guy who directed Sonic 2 is now slated to direct the Super Smash Brothers movie. They're making a Smash Brothers movie.
There's been a bit of a resurgence in the comic book. I shouldn't say resurgence. They're finally good. The
video game, you mean the video game movies? Yeah.
Movies.
Mm-hmm. Sonic especially. I saw the first one's good, and I heard the second one's better from Mac. But
yes. Yeah, but you get Knuckles.
You get Knuckles, and you get Tails.
You get Knuckles and Tails. Of course, it's gonna be better. Now, here's my question: need to watch the first one to watch the second one.
I don't believe so. I think you can kind of probably figure it out.
Probably not.
Yeah. Remember when they like the trailer first came out and people were just aghast at what they did with Sonic?
The first Sonic.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous.
With the teeth and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like when the New Orleans Pelicans first became an NBA team and they had a mascot and he looked like the stuff of fucking nightmares. They had to change him because he was too scary. Yeah.
Too scary. Yeah. Brutal.
The Severance finale was last Friday. This is the Apple TV Plus show I've been talking about nonstop. And Billy D and I did an emergency episode of Dork Podcast. You can go check it out in the archives or on YouTube. But I saw on Twitter you started the show.
I did, and I'm in. I'm in. First episode, I'm in. I like the idea. It's not exactly what I thought it was going to be, so that's good.
Yep.
And I did make a little joke that Adam Scott. I've never seen Tig Notaro and Adam Scott in the same room because he looks exactly like her in the show,
especially with this haircut that he had.
Like them. Sorry, them. I don't, pronouns. I'm sorry. I'm bad with pronouns. Yeah,
but does look like
with the hair.
Yeah, the feet, like kind of, or like the wavy kind of hair thing going. Love this show though. It's fucking wild.
So I haven't listened to that dink yet because I need to watch the show. I need to watch the show and then I'll listen to you guys.
We do like 5 minutes spoiler free, so it's really for people who have watched.
Yeah, so I gotta watch it. I'm in though. You're right. This is the time. You were right. This is good.
This is it's great. Better Call Saul. Speaking of great, this coming Monday, the first episode of Better Call Saul. So make sure you set your DVRs and all that. They also tweeted out a picture of Walter and Jesse and said like we're back or we're returning.
Wow. And this is what kills me because people were like, "Oh, we don't need this. Like, we don't need them back." I'm like, "No, you do, because the shows are running together. So like, you do need them." And
how the story goes.
I rewatched season 5 on Netflix in like 2 days. The last 3 episodes of season 5 of Better Call Saul are fucking incredible.
Yep,
the one where him and Mike are out in the desert, and then the thing with Lalo and Nacho, like that, incredible. So if you haven't seen that yet, watch that. For sure before.
And also it was weird. People were making a big deal. I mean, I get why like Walter and Jesse are 2 of the best TV characters of all time, but they had already announced that they were going to be in it like
a long time ago.
Yeah. And people are like freaking out. And I don't know, maybe we have short memories. Yeah. It seems like people did. I was like, Also, I'm curious how the one big question for me is what happens to Kim? And how does Saul like never talk about her in Breaking Bad?
My guess is she gets the vacuum guy treatment.
Yeah,
she has to. Like he already knows him, right? Because he introduced. So my guess is his introduction. Because remember when Walter and Jesse? Hopefully this isn't a spoiler, but Walter and Jesse, he gives them the guy's information. It's like if you need to get lost, like here's the guy. So my guess is he meets him. By that guy's dead though, so I don't know how they're going to do that. They could probably just use his voice.
Yeah, right. Or you never know. They probably have archives.
Or has the card. And so, like, my guess is he's introduced to him to get Kim gone.
Yeah. All right.
That's my guess. I hope Kim doesn't die. But
yeah, so that is a good. I know a lot of people probably assume she's gonna die, but that's a good point. That could always happen to her too. So she could get scooped out of there. All right, let's get to Stranger Things season 4. By the way, we tweeted it out at Dork Podcast. Volume 1, again, all these shows now are splitting up. Volume 1 comes out May 27th. And I'll tell you what, even with all these teasers and everything else, I thought I was done with Stranger Things after season 3. The trailers got me. I'm back. I'm in.
The heavy metal guy fucking shredding in the metal. Like, by the way, if shit goes down in Metro West and there's a sci-fi monster apocalypse, you best believe I'm grabbing the fender and I'm heading up. I'm like, I'm going to start shredding. That's how I'm going.
Good.
I'm going out. That's how I'm going out.
They might keep you. They might look over and be like, you know what? We need a soundtrack for this destruction.
Yeah.
You're our guy.
Be like, is that Rebel Yell by Billy Idol? Fucking tits. Let's keep that guy.
Nice. Yeah. So anyway, I'm on board. I didn't think I would be, but I am. I've already been talked back.
Great use of a Journey song too. Like I need that mix of that song. So good.
Yep, I do. All right.
It's time for Davey's video game minute. Even if it takes more than a minute.
All right, sir.
So again, this portion of the program until, I know they want to do the should I have bought this, the 47 brand, but we're going to keep them with Davey's video game minute. So go to 47 brand, use the promo code #dork, get yourself 25% off. Look at the Shap hat I got on right now.
Ooh, Ooh, Mighty Ducks of Anaheim.
Ducks. Go Ducks. Yeah, 25% off your. They got some great new stuff now. They have some like kind of like retro looking t-shirts that you can get your favorite NBA team. They look actually pretty sharp.
They do.
So check those out. And you're going to want to use the promo code for those because they're a little expensive, but that's okay. You pay for quality is what you pay for.
Correct.
So I've told this is all those Xbox people who are, woo, right? You can now buy Halo Infinite for $20. Flash sale for $20.
There you go.
That's what happens when you hype this game up and then you put out a multiplayer, which everyone is going to use Halo for, and you only have like 4 maps. Good job.
Yeah.
Speaking of games that pay dividends, so we are like 2 weeks away from the Overwatch 2 beta, PvP beta.
I signed up. I'm ready.
All signed up. I'm ready to go.
Code or whatever it takes. And
I would say we should probably get some practice in.
Yes.
Prior to.
I think we should. But here's the thing. Isn't it going to be new characters?
There are some new characters. But I think all the old characters are back, and then they're adding more.
I think we have a squad. I think we have a full squad now, too.
You think so?
I think we go 6 deep easy.
He goes, oh yeah. We put up the dork signal and we'll get 6 guys or girls or whoever.
Doesn't matter. 6 players.
Doesn't matter. Right. We'll do that. Yeah. I got to practice though. We definitely have to practice.
I haven't played in a dog's age. So
right. So another trailer we got too, the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, which looks a little odd.
Okay.
Because the Kingdom Hearts is, it's basically Final Fantasy, but with like Disney characters. You ever heard of this game?
I've not heard of this game.
You've never heard of this? So it's 4. Oh. So they're very popular games. Very popular, but it's like basically a Final Fantasy game with your companions are Disney characters, and Goofy and Donald are like your biggest helpers.
Okay.
It's weird because it looks like a Final Fantasy game, like graphics wise. So remember when like Homer Simpson, like in one of the Treehouse of Horrors, like went into like the real world and he looked kind of weird?
Yeah.
That's basically what we're dealing with right now.
Oh. That seemed like it was ahead of its time on The Simpsons when they did that.
It really was. And then Peter Griffin did it where he was like, but it looks super weird. So I don't know. I think I've played one of these games and I liked it. It was fine, but I don't know. People are gaga over these things. So whatever. So Vicarious Visions, the company that made Tony Hawk 1 and 2. Remember they did the remake of Tony Hawk 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Were recently now absorbed by Blizzard, which is good news because Activision, so it's Blizzard Activision. So Activision and Neversoft made the original Tony Hawk games. So we could be getting 3, 4 Underground, like we could be getting a slew of remastered Tony Hawk games, which I'm all for. Actually stop at Underground. We're done after that. I don't
need Underground, but I'm all in on 3. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we could be getting new ones of those, which is pretty good. And then the last bit of news that we have here for the Davies Video Game Minute, Sony and Lego's parent company, some Japanese conglomerate, has dumped $2 billion into Epic Games to like make some sort of metaverse thing.
Oh boy.
So I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah.
But kind of a big payday for Sony, for Epic Games to keep like, Fortnite going. So we'll see. But that's all the news that's fit to dance to. Go to 47brand.com, use the promo code #DORK, get you some shit.
I love it very much, Ryan. I got a quick question for you.
Y'all ready for biz?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It's the topic of the day. Today it is kind of loose, but it's Marvel cards. I love these Marvel cards. I stumbled upon my box of 1992 Marvel cards, and we talked about them a little bit last week. I'm not gonna.
That's a McFarlane, by the way.
That is.
It looks like a McFarlane Spider-Man. Yep.
I'm not gonna be able to get a good view on this. I got my light.
The light.
I got a new light.
There it is. You got to move it back a little bit. There you go.
Put back. All right. So this is what they look like. Everybody knows what these bad boys look like. They're pretty awesome. So here's the game. We're just gonna go through as many cards as we have time for, and you can do one of two things, right? You can pitch a movie / show, or you can guess the stats. Now, I can also pitch a show or pitch a movie. I obviously can't guess the stats because I have them in front of me, but we can go kind of ping pong back and forth with those.
By the way, including the should I have bought this on eBay right now, you can buy this full set right now for $275.
Jesus, it must see. Here's the
You're
problem.
sitting on a cold one. It's not the whole set, is it?
I don't have the whole set, but it's close. Yeah. And it's fact, I think it even comes just like, remember all the baseball cards with like a checklist?
Yes. There's a card that's a checklist.
Yeah. So I think there is a total of 200 cards. So I'd have to go through it. I'm definitely missing like 15, something like that. I have a lot of them, though.
You have a lot of them, including Morbius.
I have Morbius, as we discussed last week. I also have Kazar. Kazar. Rye, would you like to guess the stats or pitch a movie for Kazar? Real name, Wendell Vaughn. Debut, Captain America number 217 back in December of 1978. He is affiliated with the Avengers, although we have not seen him in the MCU yet. Here's a quote from Kazar number 2. I'm not sure I have what it takes to protect the whole darned cosmos, but if I'm the one you want for the job, I'll do my best to do it. Kazar.
Someone wrote that line.
Yep, 1989.
That's brutal.
Would you like to guess on a scale of 1 to 7? What is Kazar's strength?
Is he an energy projection guy? He is, right? He shoots laser beams.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess his strength out of 7, right?
Yep.
4.
It's a 2.
What?
What's his intelligence?
2.
Oh, correct.
Yeah.
His energy projection.
Like 6.
Correct.
Yeah.
His mental powers.
1.
Correct. His fighting ability.
2.
4.
4. Okay. 4. So he's a hand-to-hand guy. He also shoots laser beams out of his fists.
Last but not least.
Terrible cape, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Outfit stinks. He's got a terrible look. Speed.
1.
7.
What? Does he fly?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's the fastest guy in the goddamn galaxy.
Look at him. Look at that cape. Look at him. How fast he is.
Look at this guy. This son of a gun. All right. Here's the one that people really want to know. Give me a pitch for Sleepwalker. Sleepwalker.
Okay. So Sleepwalker, again, I mentioned last week that I had Sleepwalker number 1. I owned it. And I think it was one of those things where like I bought a comic at my comic book store in my hometown and they threw that in. They're like, do you want this? And I was like, yeah, fine, whatever. Like I didn't think much of it. So the pitch is, I forget the guy's name, but so basically there's
Sleepwalker doesn't have a name.
Right. But there's an alien that lives like in his subconscious. Okay. And so like this thing comes out when he's sleeping. So I forget like the guy he's attached to's name, but basically like Sleepwalker shows up when the guy goes to sleep and fights crime. And he just looks like a Green Goblin. He looks like a mix between like the Green Goblin and Cad Bane.
He 100% does. He is. He's like Green Goblin, Cad Bane. And he's one where I feel like our generation knows who he is. People younger or older than us have no idea who Sleepwalker is. I don't think he really was in the game very long.
He was not in the game very long, but he would be good. He would be a good, like, if you did a Midnight Suns movie, like he could be in that.
Okay.
I don't think I could never pitch a standalone movie for Sleepwalker because basically it's like Nightmare on Elm Street in reverse.
Although we might get there at some point.
What do you mean? We might just run out of superheroes and just like be like, shit, what are we going to do now?
The Sleepwalker.
And like, so I'm trying to think of when they ended that run and who he teamed up with. But I want to say I bought Morbius 1 and Sleepwalker 1 at the same time.
Ooh, that's probably worth. So now it probably wouldn't be graded a 9.6. That's hard to do. Yeah. But a Sleepwalker number 1 is worth $110.
Although, and again, we're going to have to talk to Judy Davey about it because only she knows where the hell my comic books went. Like, I think I got a handful left over that I saved, but God only knows. They sold the childhood home in Nashua, New Hampshire, and God only knows.
The people that moved into that house probably have a stack of comics now.
Yeah, seriously. Or they're using it as like insulation to the attic or something.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Sleepwalker.
Not great. So let's guess his stats. So, did we already do his stats last week?
I don't think so. Strength.
Okay. 2.
4.
Oh, okay.
Intelligence.
3.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Energy projection.
1.
5.
What? I don't remember him projecting any type of energy.
Apparently, a lot of it. Mental powers.
1.
2. Fighting ability.
5.
4.
Okay.
And speed.
3.
Correct. There you go.
Pretty good.
Sleepwalker.
I'm getting the hang of this.
This ain't bad.
Sucks.
All right, let's go to. Oh, here's another good one. Weapon Omega.
Okay, so this is what always confused me. So Weapon Omega, does that have anything to do with Omega Red?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe. This guy's from Alpha Flight, the Canadian team.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So his first appearance was Alpha Flight number 11, which came out June 1984. His real name is Kyle.
Just Kyle.
Just Kyle is what it says.
Jesus, Kyle.
Yes, there's a quote from Kyle. I can tell you this. I would die before I let Alpha Flight down.
Well,
all on the line.
Is he dead?
Yes.
Because he definitely let Alpha Flight down, because holy smokes.
Then there's a write-up on all these guys, too. So it says, add another name to the list of heroes born of Canada's super secret agent program, Weapon Omega. He's smart, swift, and sure of himself in a fight, but he wasn't always that way. He started out as the savage wild child, wreaking havoc until a serum cured him of his destructive tendencies. Now he's making up for his past misdeeds as a valued member of Canada's superhero team, Alpha Flight.
So I'm looking at Weapon Omega right now. This must be another run, because his name is
Kyle.
No, it's not Kyle. His name is biography.
Kyle.
Pointer. It just says Pointer. It just says there's Kyle.
There's Kyle. It's coming out. He's coming through the screen. He's Kyle. Alpha Flight. I'm surprised we haven't seen any Alpha Flight yet.
We have not seen Alpha Flight. And the famous Canadian superhero Captain Sorry.
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 All right, we got a
Alpha
few
Flight.
Avengers.
Who else is in Alpha Flight, by the way?
Oh shit. There's a little guy named Puck. Remember
Alpha
him?
Flight.
And then Sasquatch.
Sasquatch is in Alpha Flight.
They have a giant Sasquatch.
Puck is just like this little guy with like a P on his chest, right?
Yep. Yeah. I think I might even have the team card. There's team
Aurora, Snowbird, Guardian, Puck, Shaman, and Sasquatch.
That's a squad. What a crop.
Oh, Puck's got a little twisty mustache too.
Yeah, look at this. You telling me this card isn't worth a shit ton?
Look at him.
Alpha Flight.
That A looks like a 4. Weird. Or is that a maple leaf?
Yeah, maple leaf.
It's a maple leaf.
They're super Canadian.
Canadian.
Puck's not in the team photo. Is he not in there? Oh, he's in there.
He's just hiding behind somebody.
Yeah, he's in there. It's funny too. The Guardians of the Galaxy is like a completely different Guardians.
Right. This is the one with it's like John 27 or whatever the guy's name is.
Charlie 27.
Charlie 27. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Major Victory, Starhawk, Charlie 27, Martin X, Nikki, and Talon.
So who was it? Major Victory was like another Captain America, right?
I think so.
Which is like the dumbest story, because I think he's in that card set. So Major Victory gets sent into space to like the nearest solar system, and he's supposed to like be the first human to get there. And then when he gets there, there's already people there.
Wow.
So it's a whole fucking waste.
It's like Christopher Columbus.
Josh in the chat says, if Alpha Flight is in Doctor Strange, I will flatten my own dick. Well, you'd be better off because it'll be wider. More girth that way.
Yeah, really. I mean, don't knock it till you try it.
So are you pulling for Alpha? I don't understand. Are you pulling for Alpha Flight to be in it, or you don't want them to be in it?
You super want them to be a part of it. That's fine. We get it. We understand why. I am surprised that we haven't gotten Alpha Flight at some point. All right, who else do we got here? Well, we're getting a She-Hulk.
Do you have the
Captain Britain?
Now, this is we already kind of got this, I would say, in What If, because you had Peggy Carter, who became Captain. You can't really call her Captain America. So Agent Carter becomes Captain America, so to speak. So she would have to be Captain Britain.
She wasn't Brian Braddock, though.
Not Brian Braddock, not for but sure. But I don't know if we need this.
No, let's skip it.
I already have 3 or 4, because now we got 3 3 or 4 Captain Americas now.
Yeah, we got
with Strange is going to be another one.
Then we got U.S. Agent. He's kind of
we got
doing
U.S. Agent. We got Falcon. We got Bucky Barnes. All of those people have been at one point Captain America. So I don't know if we need Captain Britain.
No, probably not.
No.
Let's see. Here you go. Here's your guy.
Darkhawk. So I put this in here because I was kind of brushing up and it's like, it's a great suit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It looks kind of like it looks like Batman if he was in the Court of Owls.
But it metal.
Yeah, but metal.
Like a metal suit and like a Wolverine claw.
Like some of that Dark Knight metal stuff, actually.
Yeah. But he's got like I don't want to say Wolverine. I want to see like Vega from Street Fighter 2 claws.
There's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
His real name is Chris Powell. He made his first appearance in Darkhawk #1 back in March of 1991. Here's a quote from Darkhawk #8. Got to admit, this is kind of cool. That actually would have been a better game. Have me read the quotes and you have to guess who said it. Okay, actually, we could just do that next.
Okay.
And does Darkhawk have any ability above a 4?
So I'm trying to think.
Strength, intelligence, energy, projection, mental powers, fighting ability, and speed.
No shot.
Yeah, no, you're right.
What's the 4?
Strength is the only 4.
And everything else of his fighting ability is under a 4. And
yeah,
as he flies and his speed is under a 4.
It's a 2.
Ew. What a useless piece of shit he is.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Hence the name, but it's a good fit.
All right, who said this?
Hard on myself.
Who said this? Crooks on the rocks, delicious. Crooks on the rocks, delicious.
Crooks on the rocks, delicious. So it's got to be someone who eats people, right?
No, it doesn't.
Crooks on
the rocks, delicious.
I have no fucking earthly idea.
In 1975, Iceman. Get it? On the rocks.
Oh, ice. Oh, I get it. Play on.
Come on,
Drake Roberts, Bobby Drake. What is it? What were his other aliases?
No, Bobby Drake.
But wasn't he Drake Roberts at some point too?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, one of the original X-Men.
One of the original X-Men.
Yeah, you see in the issue #1 behind me. Of course, that's a poster. Every once in a while, people are like, "Why do you have that hanging up behind you? That's worth so much." I'm like, "It's a poster. It was worth $5."
Yeah. Also, his stats. It could because this came out after the fact, so they realized that Iceman is an Omega level mutant.
Yeah. So his stats do not reflect this.
Do not reflect this at all because it was this recently came to light that he can manipulate atoms around him to make ice. So
I would like to see a better Iceman. I think that kid was fine in the early X-Men movies. I want a better Iceman.
I think we could do it. We should do when you have when the X-Men come into the MCU, I think you do it with the originals.
I agree.
And they need to kind of bring this character along more than the others because I think he's one of the only ones who's been there consistently from the start of X-Men.
Now, because they're doing the Marvel or the X-Men 97 show, they're going to like kind of reboot the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
You think they're going to tie that in anyway and have, because again, if What If is a cartoon, but we're going to get some of that in live action, I wonder if they take some of the shit that goes on in that cartoon. Because I would also like to see a better, like a Rogue Gambit from the cartoon.
That's the only way you're ever going to see it.
I know.
That's the only way you're ever going to see Gambit is in a cartoon, but
he's not getting his own. He's not getting his own thing.
So you got to figure too, like if Iceman can create ice around him,
mm-hmm.
he could also potentially turn your blood to ice.
Correct.
Which
that's
terrifying
as anybody. Yep.
Because when liquids turn solids, they expand. So you're gonna like blow up too.
Yeah. What could he do to my dick? Flatten it.
I don't know. Freeze dry it and flatten it. You know. Who knows?
Who said this? I kill only those who deserve killing.
Kill only those who deserve Punisher.
Correct.
Right?
Punisher.
Yeah.
Badass card too. Holy smokes.
And look at that.
Woo. Oh my God.
Look at Frankie go, huh?
What a cool card.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got here?
Oh, here we go. Warlock.
So is that Adam Warlock? They just call him Warlock?
Yeah, the card just says Warlock, but it's Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
How about the power ratings on this guy?
It's got to be 6s and 7s across the board, right?
He has 3 7s, energy projection, mental powers, and speed. 5 for strength, and then a 3 for fighting ability and intelligence.
Well, I mean, I think like you don't have to fight.
Right. At that point.
So at that point, which it always bugged me, and again, I know it's a comic book movie, why Thanos ever engaged in a fist fight during Endgame and Infinity War. Like, you don't have to.
Probably didn't really need it.
No, you could just be like, do the Zach Morris timeout.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, right?
How about Megan?
I'm sorry?
This is always like the biggest head scratcher. Megan, she first appeared in New Mutants, and then she joined Excalibur. Just Megan. 1s and 2s across the board.
What does she do?
Once believed by her gypsy parents to be a demon child, the shape changer known as Megan recently learned more of her true origins. She's a blessed child of white magic, one of the benevolent creatures known as fairies.
Fairies.
Faerie.
Yeah, it's fairies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With this knowledge and her power to assume many forms, the lovely Megan continues to fight evil of all kinds at the side of her mutant companions, the team of heroes known as Excalibur.
I think she's just a shapeshifter?
I guess.
Like a worse Mystique?
Yep.
Fuck that.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. All right. Oh, this is another guy you don't see much of. Night Thrasher. He looks
like
cool,
he looks like a G.I. Joe character.
He does look a little bit like a G.I. Joe character or a Mortal Kombat character a little bit.
Yeah.
His real name's Dwayne Taylor. And he once said, I was only 4 when my parents were killed. I'm never going to stop trying to avenge their deaths. That's a fresh origin story.
It's a fresh origin, yeah. You love to see that.
Although its fighting ability is 6.
You can get down.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all. All right,
let's whoop anybody.
Let's do 2 more here.
All right, let's do 2 more. Yep.
All right, you want a villain?
Give me a villain.
All right. Cardiac.
So, Shocker.
Cardiac. Or Eli Worthen. Call me judge, call me jury, call me Cardiac. He said that in Amazing Spider-Man. He debuted in Spider-Man. He's one of Spider-Man's villains, I guess.
So, is he just like a human defibrillator?
Yeah, it says young Eli Wortham swore upon his brother's death that no one else would have to die due to lack of knowledge. Growing up to become a world-renowned scientist, Eli later discovered that his brother's death could have been prevented were it not for a greedy corporation that withheld the cure. Swearing revenge upon corrupt conglomerates everywhere, Eli became the costume vigilante known as Cardiac.
So he's so Oscorp, I'm guessing they're...
Yep, I would assume.
That's a shit character too. Like, this was in 92. Like, how you think of like how far comic books have come since the early 90s.
Yeah.
And again, I think this is around the time where Marvel went bankrupt.
Yeah, I don't think they were doing so hot. I think you're right.
No.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that. All right. How about this?
96. Marvel went bankrupt.
Oh, yeah. So these cards were 92. So, yeah, you're right. All right. Last one we'll do today. The Rose.
Is that a bad guy?
It's a super villain.
Looks like Zemo.
He looks like Baron Zemo. He looks like Black Mask, but with a purple mask.
He's got 2 Uzis there.
2 guns.
Smoking Uzis.
Smoking guns.
Yeah.
He also first appeared in Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man 253, June of 84. His name is Richard Fisk. Oh, Fisk.
Ah.
Oh, he's Kingpin's son.
Rose.
How do you like that?
Look at that.
Spider-Man is a weed which must be swiftly plucked, he said once. As the son of the criminal mastermind known as the Kingpin, the Rose follows the footsteps of one of Spider-Man's oldest and most dangerous enemies. Seeking to command his own criminal empire, the Rose challenged his father for control of New York's underworld and lost. But now that Daredevil has helped bring about the Kingpin's downfall, the Rose may yet get the chance to claim his father's throne.
And I will go even further. The first Rose, there's been 4 Roses in Marvel Comics. The first was Richard Fisk, who sought to overthrow his father after learning he was the kingpin of crime. He later became a Punisher-like vigilante calling himself Blood Rose. He was eventually shot dead by his own mother, Vanessa.
Wow. So they could use it.
Tough way to go.
They had
you could use him in Daredevil.
You definitely could. And like you just had Echo pop up. So Echo is the daughter of Kingpin.
Well, it depends. No, I don't think that you could have a young version of him, but I don't think you could do full
the Rose. I'm in on it. Yeah. I'm in on it. All right, that's a pretty good game right there, Ryan. The 1992 cards.
A fun little game.
The old cards. Let's get to this.
Pick of the bomb.
Pick of the bomb. Pick of the bomb. Pick of the bomb. All right, Ryan, would you like to kick, receive, defer, or you may choose at this time to defend a goal?
I will defer since I received last week.
I know what yours is this week.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I agree with you. So instead of giving a pick of the pod, I'm going to go with a little segment within the segment called I Watched It So You Don't Have to.
Okay.
2 trash box movies.
What'd you get?
1, Windfall on Netflix with Jason Segel and Jesse Plemons.
Yes, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because I thought this was going to be good.
Did I mention this last week?
No, but you mentioned it to me.
Okay.
Because you said, I'm going to watch this tonight. Like, let me know how it is. And then you were like, nah.
I hated it. I thought it was terrible. And then no surprise, but it was on HBO Max, so I decided to watch it. Death on the Nile. Another one of these movies that has like an all-star cast. I love a whodunit. And maybe I'm too good for whodunits because I also sniffed this out in like 15 minutes. And it was a 2-hour movie. And
I did with the new Scream?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you did with Scream. But this was so much worse than the new Scream. This was just... I like really didn't like it, and I didn't like Murder on the Orient Express, so I didn't really expect to like it. I went in with low expectations, and this was a crap box. So those are 2 movies that they're streaming right now, but you could skip. By the way, on the 18th, just 6 days away, the Batman will be streaming, so we can all watch it a second, third, and fourth time through.
I've seen it twice, and I can't wait to watch it again.
Oh my God,
can't wait to watch it again. So as you know, we discussed it before. My pick of the pod again, HBO Max. If you haven't seen Tony Hawk Until the Wheels Fall Off, man, this is so good. It's so good, and it's like the perfect. So you have like these like holy grail of like skateboard documentaries. So you have like Dogtown and Z Boys, not the Lords of Dogtown, but Dogtown and Z Boys, Bones Brigade. If you haven't seen, and then this one. So like those 3, Stacy Peralta's involved in all of them. So Dogtown and Z Boys is like the original skateboard crew. The Zephyr crew, and then Bones Brigade is when Stacy Peralta becomes like the head of a skate. So that's Lance Mountain, Steve Caballero, Mike McGill, Rodney Mullen, Christian Hosoi. Like every skateboarder that I ever knew in like the 80s was associated somehow with Stacy Peralta.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then this one is kind of like those guys now. The Tony Hawk. It's focused on Tony Hawk, and kind of like a little deeper dive into like what he's doing now, and the whole joke that like no one recognizes Tony Hawk anymore. I think is one of the greatest gags like ever. Like no one knows. They see it says Anthony Hawk, and they're like, oh, like
you look
Tony
just
Hawk.
like him. Yeah,
and you can't put that together.
Right.
By the way, I would know Tony Hawk if I saw him in person. I would like run up to him and
yeah, so would I.
And he would give me like the Jerry Seinfeld like Kesha treatment. Like, no,
all right, buddy. Thanks, man. Yep.
Yeah. I love skateboard documentaries. And this is kind of like, as I get older, I start asking myself kind of the same questions, like, when is enough with this? And there's like at the end, like he just kind of tries a 540 and or 720, and just the guy's 56 years old.
Well, so what I was
fucking shattered. Like all these guys are just mangled.
It's one of those sports. First of all, I don't think there's enough credit given to just like how impressive and how difficult it really is. But it's also a sport that you can't really age well in it. And like their bodies take such a physical pounding that it's kind of insane. But like nobody really refers to it as a contact sport, but like it 100% is a contact sport.
Like like the litany of things that he lists off that he's done to himself. And there's like a segment where he just talks about all of his injuries. And even somebody who like Rodney Mullen. By the way, Rodney Mullen in all of these documentaries
Amazing.
steals the show. He is like a mystic. Like, I don't know. That's the only way I can describe him. Like the way he thinks and the way he talks about anything. Like I'll just listen to him for hours.
Yeah, he's like an artist, and
yeah,
you know, the skateboard is his brush. Like that's
and his TED Talk. His TED Talk. If you haven't seen it, like
no, I haven't.
It's great. Just talking about like using skateboarders' creativity and like has his voice. I mean, I think there's something like again, there's some. He's definitely on the spectrum somewhere, and I'm not saying that to be funny. I really think that he is. And before they could diagnose that, like I think that, but just listening to these guys talk about why they keep doing the things that they're doing, and it's an incredible watch. So definitely, if you haven't,
we could do an episode actually on this next week if you want.
I would love to do just like skateboard movies and like how they've kind of shaped my life.
It's funny that we were talking at the beginning of the episode about stand-up comedy because it's two different worlds, but I have the same appreciation for both. Like I know they're incredibly hard. I tried skateboarding when I was little. It was my first big purchase ever. I remember specifically saving up $20, which felt like a lifetime to achieve. I got $20, went to like JCPenney or whatever, bought a skateboard, tried skating a few times, and was so bad so early in like my knees and elbows, obviously because I didn't buy pads or anything. And I was so
those didn't exist. You didn't buy pads back then.
No, that's true. And that would have been, I only had the $20. How the fuck was I gonna get?
How am I gonna get pads?
Things? So I'm all scuffed up. Obviously, no helmet or anything because it's forever said this is the 90s. And I was like, I just always admired people that could do it. And it was like another group that I'm like, holy shit, like what they do blows my mind. And that's why I'm with you. I love all these documentaries. Obviously the video games I love too. But like that whole world fascinates me. And this documentary is great. And what I'm blown away by is how much old footage they have. They have like, all these competitions in like the 80s. They had like late 70s. Like they have footage of still. And so it was awesome.
Yeah, and again, like, so I know I've told the story before, but you know me, like ever since you've known me, like I've had a video camera or any type of camera on me at all times. Wherever I go, I always have a camera. And that started because when I was 14, 15 in like the early 90s, like I grew up playing hockey so I could rollerblade, but I was also a fucking terrible skateboarder. So my friends would be like, all right, well, you can't skate. So like follow us with the camera, like on your rollerblades. And that's how I got into it. And ever since then, like and again, with, you know, I could talk to you. I know we're at the end of the podcast, but I could talk for hours about like, you know, Spike Jonze and like all of those things, like all the things he did with like Big Brother and like CKY and like watching all of those things, even the Bones Brigade movies. So
Bones Brigade is crazy.
Yeah,
I say we do it. I say next week we do it. We could sort of highlight the Tony Hawk new one. So for everybody out there who hasn't seen it yet, it's on HBO. And then if you want to go back and find those other ones, we can sort of do like a broad brush. But we'll focus on the Tony Hawk one, the newer one. Plus, there's some overlap, certainly. Yes. And Stacey Peralta is just such an impressive guy too. Talk about ahead of his time. Pretty amazing. So
and Dwayne Peters, who's in this, is in all of these movies. The guy with all the tattoos and like Missy's like total like punk rock. Like that guy's a fucking beauty.
Yep. Oh, they all are. They're all absolute characters, and it's pretty fascinating to listen to their stories, especially now. So that'll be next week. And by the way, it won't be Monday. So sorry to jerk everybody around again with the schedule, but it won't be Monday. Just keep it locked to @DORK Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Probably Wednesday or Thursday of next
week? Probably Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, so probably Thursday of next week. But we will get at you then. Again, follow us on Twitter and Instagram @DORK Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. So if you don't find out when we're going live, it'll just pop
this
up.
Close.
You get an email
close to 1 million followers.
We're tracking down that 1 millionth follower. It could be you. You listening right now. You're like, I haven't subscribed yet. Maybe I'll be the 1 millionth. Could happen. Also, a reminder, our live show is May 15th. So save the date.
Wait, say you could be that millionth follower. Say it again.
You could be that millionth follower.
Could it be you?
Could be. All right. You don't give a shit about anything, do you?
What'd you say?
You don't give a shit about anything, do you?
Not really.